Okay, we start afresh. We started something about non-Indo-European languages, and we have mentioned one, Semitic language. Semitic language. You could trace it back and see what does it mean in Arabic. It has an equivalent in Arabic, Semitic language. The second one is an Afro-Asiatic. Afro-Asiatic from Afro-Asian. Afro-Asiatic languages. Nilo-Saharan from Nile and Sahara desert. Nilo-Saharan. These are languages different from non-Indo-European languages. And again, Niger Kordofanian. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. One of the languages that are apart from Indo-European languages is one. Here we could trace it and we could make a research on it. It belongs to Sudan. It belongs to Sudan. Niger Kordofanian. Niger Kordofanian. You see, it is spoken in that area, in this geographical area called Kordofan. And Koshan. This is, I believe, toward the north. Kosh. Yeah, the kingdom of Kosh. So there is a language that is singled for this kingdom, Koshan. And Dravidian. So these 6 languages are not considered among the languages that are considered as Indo-European languages. We could say them very quickly, and you can go back to your book and see them. Semitic, Afro-Asiatic, Nilo-Saharan, Nigerian, Niger Kordofanian, Koshan, and Dravidian. You could see this on page 53. Page 53, yes, in your book. Okay. Mainly, I'm interested, yes, I want you to focus on Niger Kordofanian language. So, there are main divisions of Indo-European languages. The main division of the Indo-European languages, around 9 languages. Yeah, Indo-Iranian, this is number 1. These are the divisions, the parts, the classes or the classified parts of Indo-European. Number 1 is Indo-European. Number 2, Armenian and Albanian. That is in Alban and Armenian. And Tokrainian. Anatolian. Balto-Salfic. And Hellenic. And Italic. And Celtic and Germanic. All these are division of Indo-European language. Yeah, we said cognate words in Indo-European languages, the words that are similar in Indo-European languages. Yeah, for example, bear and carry. To bear something, to carry something. These words are cognate or synonyms. And words of the body also considered among this type of language: heart, lung, head, foot. And natural phenomena, the natural phenomena like air, night, stars, snow, sun, moon, all these are considered vocabulary of this language. The type or the system of inflection in Indo-European languages. You have known all Indo-European languages. What's the type of inflection? Inflection, what we add as a suffix or prefix to a word. You got me? Yeah. So what are the type of inflections in Indo-European languages? All Indo-European languages could be considered the same in accepting inflections. For example, cat, cats. Although cat has an Arabic origin, the word cat is taken from the word cat. This is the origin of this word. But it accepts what? The inflection, cat, cats, in its plural form. Yeah. Word order in Indo-European languages, the word order. What comes first and what comes next in Indo-European languages? Well, both types could be accepted in Indo-European languages. You could precede, you could intercede, you could delay back at the end of the sentence. Let us take English. English, we call it an SVO language. SVO language. Yeah, subject, verb, object. This is actually the patterning of all languages. Arabic is different from this. VSO. Arabic is a VSO language. Verb, subject, object. Not like English. English, first subject, verb, and object. Ali killed the cat. Ali killed the cat. This is the pattern of this language. So both methods are used in Indo-European languages. Both methods or both patterns are acceptable in Indo-European languages. Major changes from Indo-European language to Germanic. Why? Why it happened that the people in the continent in Europe changed from Indo-European languages to Germanic? What are the advantages of Germanic over the Indo-European? Well, Germanic differentiated from early Indo-European languages in the following ways. First of all, Germanic language has a large number of words. That is why people change to this language. It has a lot of vocabulary, or it has a big stock of vocabulary. That is why people change to this language, Germanic. Number two, Germanic languages have only tenses. Present and past, but we call it preterite. It is called preterite. 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 It has present and preterite. Present and past, as you say it. Yeah. So these characteristics made people move to what? Germanic language. Chapter 5, this is the chapter before the last, which are the first 6 chapters that are examinable, where you are going to examine on these 6 chapters. The Old English period, this again very important. We date it to this period, Old English period. It started from 449 through 1100. This is the old period. The recorded history of English began in the British Isles. So the history of English is started in these isles. During this period, there are some major events that are helpful in distinguishing this period of, the English of this period. What are these events? I said there are some key events, some key incidents that affected the English of this period, the Old English period, yeah. Number one, in 449, in this year, the Angles and the Saxons, the Jutes and the Parisians began to occupy Great Britain. These four major races, the Angles, the Anglo-Saxons, the Jutes, we spell it like that, J-U-T-E-S, the Jutes, and the Frisians, F-R-I-S-I-A-N-S. So these four races, better we say races and tribes, started to conquer and occupy Great Britain, thus changing its major population by marriage, of course. By marriage they changed the race of this island of Britain, and of course spreading a different language. They spread a different language through this era. Four different languages, of course, because the Angles speak a different dialect or a language, while the Saxons also speak a different accent and dialect, and likewise the Jute and the Parisians. So this is one key major event, that the type of governing, the type of ruling is different. You see, there are invaders. This island is invaded by four different races. The second major event, well, in 597, this is of course an year, Saint Augustine is a religious person, yes, of Canterbury, introduced the influence of Latin language, particularly in medicine. They brought Latin, this saint brought Latin into the language. If we focus on this word, malaria, mal, M-A-L, it means bad, air, A-I-R, means what? The weather, bad weather. I-A, usually I-A is a plural. The word in Latin gets their plural by I-A in the end, malaria, or A, like data, datum. So this is plural, you see. So malaria could be interpreted in this way, could be explained in this way. It is borrowed from Latin in the field of medicine, and it comes like that. So the influence of Latin, we say, another key major event is the influence of Latin. 3 is 730, someone called Bede, a big B-E-D-E, B banana, B-E-D-A, recorded the early history of English people. He started tracing the history of English people. Yeah, and of course write the kind of language, the type of language during each age he is writing about. Well, in 787, the Scandinavian invasion began with raid along the northeast sea coast. So the Scandinavian invaded Britain. Again, they brought in a new type of language. Together with these languages, they make a good cocktail of languages to be spoken within this island. Yeah, in 1871, someone called Alfred. This sponsored the translation of Latin works into English. You see the change? Yes. First they brought Latin during this period. When Alfred came, he sponsored the translation. He translated all type of knowledge into English. So English started to grow during this period. Alfred, during the year 871. The history of the Anglo-Saxon. The history of the Anglo-Saxon. Yeah, Roman army included many non-Italians. Yes, so the Roman, besides their nationalities, besides their race, they hired so many different nationalities to help them in keeping order in this empire, new empire. So there are other different nationalities. Among these nationalities are the Angles and the Saxons. Angles and the Saxons. Yeah, as I told you just a few minutes before, is that England is named from Angel. It comes from this, the land of the Angles. England, the land of the Angles. So all these tribes, all these nations, all these races speak, of course, different languages and, of course, different vocabulary. The Germanic word stock, the words that have German origin. You might face a question like this. Yeah. The Old English words of Germanic origin were identical to modern English words. So in Germanic language, there are some words that are identical with the English, like God. So the German people use God, English people use God as well. And gold, hand, land, under, winter, and word. These words have correspondence together with Latin and Germanic words. But some words change their meaning. The word like bread, taken from Germanic, it is used to mean peace. Yeah, bread, yes, which means loaf nowadays. Yeah, but in Germanic it means peace or bit, B-I-T, bit. Yeah, peace. The word dream used to mean joy. Dream used to mean joy. Yeah, chapter 6. This is the last chapter, of course. Yeah, this handles Middle English period. The Middle English period. Well, of course, before we start saying something about the Middle period, is that the change usually include all the systems of the language. It is grammar, it is vocabulary, it is pronunciation, like that, yeah. So it includes everything. So in the Middle English period, which is dated from 1100 to 1500. So I said that this period starts with 1100 year and 1500, the beginning and the end. So both the beginning and the ending of this period has remarkable change, has remarkable characteristics. Well, at the beginning of this period, grammar is changed, or grammatical changing took place. So in 1100, this is the period of grammar change. And towards the end of this period, that is 1500, the pronunciation is changed. So two changes took place during this period. At the very beginning of this period, grammar is changed, and toward the end is pronunciation. Yeah. Hello, I think you are receiving a telephone call. Hello.
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 Salam alaikum.
You are welcome.
I have got two questions.
Yeah. What's your name, by the way? What's your name?
My name is Muhammad Ahmed min Al-Khartoum.
Ahmed Muhammad from Khartoum. Okay.
Khartoum. Yeah.
So, what's your question?
I have got two questions.
Two questions.
The first question is,
Yeah.
what are the three different periods of English history? This is the first question.
Okay.
The second question, why is England called England?
Okay, that's very good. Thank you very much. Ahmed is calling from Khartoum area. His first question is that what are the three different periods of the history of English? The second question is, why is England called England? So, the first three periods is that Old English, dated back from 449 through 1100. This is Old period. And Middle English, Old English, that of course. Middle English, dated back from 1100 to 1500. This is called Middle period. That's what we're talking about. And the last one, of course, is Modern English. Modern English, that's from 1500 up to now, up to this moment. These are the three different periods of that compose the history of English. The second question is that why England is called England. Well, England takes its name from the invasion of the Angles. This is one of the races that invaded England. And of course, land is known, the place of the Angles. So it becomes England, the land of the Angles. Thank you very much, Ahmed. I hope that I've answered your questions. Okay, please, those who are outside Khartoum, if they want to call and connect with us, you can easily connect with us through this phone number 0183-4242-774. Again, the telephone number 0183-242-774, or you can easily connect through this email www.media.nous.edu.sd. Welcome to accept your questions. So we said this period, the Middle English period, is marked by two important changes, which is the change of grammatical changes. This is at the very beginning of this period, and the pronunciation change, yes, towards the end of this period. Yeah. We can see examples of what is used in Scotland. Apart from other parts in Europe, they say easy, easy, while in Scotland they say easy, easy, used to say easy. Like Shagia tribe, say Karima and Karimi. You see, different sort of pronunciation. Yeah, some key events in the Middle English period. As we've said, there are certain key events, incidents in the old period of English. Again, there are some key events in Middle English period. Number one is that during 1066, the Normans conquered England. The Normans, this one again, a new more race conquered England. And of course, when a race come and conquer the place, they come together with their language, with their weapons, not just with their weapons, they come with their language. Yes, either they change with their gun, again they change with their words, the language that they use. So it is very funny, to use language as a weapon. Yeah, replacing the native, yeah. So Anglo-Normans is a new language that is started to grow, you see. Now we used to speak about Anglo-Saxon language, and now we can speak about Anglo-Normans. Anglo-Norman, yeah. Well, again, the telephone that you could call through, those who are outside Khartoum are welcome to call through this telephone number 183 242 778. Thank you very much. Well, this is the first incident or event that happened during this age. 1204 or 1204, King John lost Normandy to the French. You see, during this year, the king of this island, called King John, changing the language of the Normans, changed the language of the Norman and replaced it with French. So they started to use French. Some words have, yes, French origin. Word like blade in English, blade. Table, the word table, yes, has French roots. So they changed the Norman, from the Norman to French. Yes, during 1285, King Henry III issued first English language royal proclamation or proclamation, a decree. He issued a decree is that English language to be used in place of all these languages. This is King Henry III. Well, in 1337, 100 Years' War began. There is a war that extended to a very long period, 100 years. So, of course, this period affected what? Affected the language. Yeah. I think someone is calling, someone is asking. Hello?
الو مرحب دكتور كيريا السلام عليكم.
Hello, you are welcome.
أستاذة وصال أحمد عبد الرحمن.
Hello, وصال أحمد عبد الرحمن.
أيوة.
Hello, you are welcome. I think you are calling from White Nile State.
أهلا دكتور كيريا ومعاذ.
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, it's fine. How are you?
Well, thank you. Thank you for calling.
Mr. Kirya, I want to ask about some researches that can help me to do my research, which is, inshallah, about reading.
Okay. It is a question that outside the topic that we are speaking, because we are speaking about the origin and development of English language. But I could answer you in brief, yeah. The way that you make a research in reading, you just follow the scientific way of making a research.
Yes.
As I usually call in my classes, is that to make a research, we have first of all to design an objective or objectives.
Yes.
Of making a research, and then we turn these objectives or objective into questions or question. Can be one question or some questions, and then on our turn we turn these questions to hypotheses, and running and solving and answering these hypotheses is a research on its own. Yeah, this is just in brief how to make a research. Objectives, questions, and hypothesis to be answered. But today, Mr. Wisal, or Mrs. Wisal, we are talking about the origin and development of English language, the history of English language.
Yes.
How does English come to be an international language? This is our main focus.
Yes. You talk about the development of English.
Of English language, yes, the history of English language.
Yes, I'm very happy to hear your voice, Dr. Kirya. Just now, one of the employees in the TV of the university phoned me and to speak to you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for calling.
Yeah,
well, I'm very glad.
Happy to hear you, and inshallah, Next time I will phone you again, inshallah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for calling, Mr. Wisal from White Nile State. Thank you very much. I hope that I answered your question. Okay, thank you. We continue with our passage, and we are left with just some 5 minutes here. So, one again of the major points, the Black Death. I talked about the 100 years of warring. This period of warring again enrich the language with vocabulary of warring, weapons, killing, you see, attacking, raiding. This is the kind of vocabulary that you get through this warring period. Again comes the period of Black Death. Well, I believe during this era, a kind of plague spread in the continent and killed a lot of people, a kind of disease. Again, they invented kind of disease words to show this kind of disease, the symptoms, and how does it transmit? Is it an epidemic or not, or a pandemic? So we get like this kind of vocabulary. Yeah. Again, during this period, 1384, somebody called John Leaf died, having promoted the first part of translation of the script of the Bible. This is again very important period. Yeah. John Wolfe, yes, died during this period, 1384, having promoted the translation of what the Bible. He translated the Bible into English. And again, in 1400, Geoffrey Chaucer, I said this is a very famous English writer during the Middle Ages, and he wrote the Canterbury. These are folk tales, yes, folk tales within this period, yeah. Died having produced a very rich kind of poetry. He produced a very rich kind of poetry, yes, to enrich again the literature of the English people. These are, together with some others, very important events that affected the history of English during the Middle period, which I said is dated between 1100 and 1005. So, last point that we talk about, the standard English, the English that we are talking, like the kind of English that we are talking about, yeah. This is derived from a dialect called London English. London English or London Standard. London English or London is dialect, yeah. So it is a refined kind of English, language of educated, the kind of language that to be broadcasted in the BBC and used in official places, governmental places. It is a refined kind of language. It is a refined variety of English or dialect. It is, as I said, official, refined, formal. What are your requirements? Instead of saying, what do you want? What do you want? What are your requirements? You see, it is very sensitive. Yeah. How are you? Fine. How are you? Instead of saying, how are you? I'm fine. Better you change it for nice, because fine started to be tissues. Better we say nice, yeah, rather than fine, yeah. So, the language of Chaucer and Co. is not the language of John Barber. This is the difference to make the standard and the dialect of London. That in Chaucer's time, the English is a little bit much easier and clear than that of John Barber. So the middle era, the middle period, comes a little bit to our today's English, to match with our today's English. But the foreign influences of vocabulary during this period is that Latin is used wholly in science. They borrowed words from Latin in science. As I told you, an example of malaria. And in law, in the language of law, They borrowed the language from French, like judge. The word judge has French origin. So these are two sources to borrow this kind of vocabulary to treat these two varieties of English. In the field of science, I said that they borrowed vocabulary from Latin. All the field of science, you say trachea, measles, all these are Latin words for scientific purposes. Yeah, so this change, as I said, in all these periods include all the system of the language. It is grammar, it is vocabulary, the intonation concerning pronunciation, and the stock of vocabulary. Yes, to this end, we conclude finishing the book, The Origin and Development of English Language. Hopefully that the idea of the book is now clear to you. And if you have some questions, you can ask me. Just I wait 2 minutes for you to ask me questions. And again, I will thank the people who connected with us from outside the studio, particularly Mrs. Wisal, Ustaza Wisal, who is calling from White Nile State to ask a genuine question, although it is not within the topic of the lecture, but it is helpful to you in your studies as postgraduate students. I'm also grateful to you for attending these classes, yes. This and the previous classes and the coming class, of course. Taking the burden of coming here is not easy. I'm grateful to you. If you have questions, ask me. I'll answer you, okay? Well, I'm eager to hear your questions. If you have questions, ask me, please. Yeah?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank you instead of my colleagues here for let us to attend this nice class,
Okay.
which is very clear for us to understand the lesson itself or the subject that we have it in the exam, inshallah.
Okay, thank you very much.
So my question is, you said that language is innate.
Innate, yeah.
Yeah. So if you put two child in, I want to set an example, then I want you to clarify these examples.
Okay, okay, yes.
So if we have two family,
Yeah.
and in one family we have a lot of
Children.
children, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
In the other family, only the mother and father, the baby.
Yeah.
You said language innate.
Innate,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So I think the family number one, the child in the family number one, which is a lot of, which have a lot of child, the children can know a lot of language more than the second one.
Okay, thank you
So-
very much. It's a very good question, very
Yeah,
clever
thank
question.
you.
Yeah. When I've said language is innate, it means that we are genetically equipped with equipments to learn this language. Are you following? Yeah. So we are born with an ability to learn the language. We are genetically prepared to learn this language. This is what is meant by innate. So it is inbuilt with us. I will give you an example, yes, just from life in general. You see in the ground, there are the seeds of all grasses, all type of grass. You see? In the ground, we have the seeds of all type of grass. When it rains, after a few days, then all the earth started to be green, turn green. We find different kind of grass. This is like language. All languages are here within our brain. We are born with an ability to learn all these languages. Just we need the suitable environment to make direct contact with this environment to learn the language. So we are genetically prepared. The language is innate. We just need to train ourselves. As I told you, the baby, the first moment it comes to life, or it comes to our world from the belly of its mother, you see, it makes cries. It cries. Well, some scientists said that this cries because of the weather. The weather is different. The out air is different. It makes pressure in the lungs. They say something very scientific. I cannot explain it. But the cries, well, could be interpreted as a shape of a language, a spoken language. You see, when it grows 6 months, 7 months, it starts to make bubbling sound. Pa, 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 mama, mama. Sound like that. Again, it shapes to papa, mama, until it comes to baba, water, baba, sweet. When a child, 2 years, 1 year and a half, say baba is sweet, baba, buy me sweet. You see, it is not a complete language, but it's child language. And then it grows. This language grows together with the growth of the child itself. I said itself because we are not talking about a boy or a girl, you see. The child, yes, itself. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I hope that answered the question.
Excuse
Yeah.
me.
May?
Okay. Here we have innate and acquisition.
Acquisition, yeah.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes. What is the place of acquisition here? We have innate learning and acquisition.
Well, thank you very much. This is a very
Okay.
good question. I didn't, well, say something about acquisition. Well, the expert, the linguist, well, presupposed that there is an organ, well, within our brain. It is called LAD. LAD. LAD are 3 letters, stand for Language Acquisition Device. LAD. Language Acquisition Device. That means within our brain we have an apparatus. We have an apparatus that could acquire the language, picks the language like a magnet. It attracts. It attracts, yes. Whatever other people say, it sticks. For example, this fellow here says, if I say, please, you can come here. Any one of you can come here. You come. Notice the kind of language that I say to this sister here. Fly a tilot. 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 Fly a règle. Fly a règle. You see, what is it? Is it a tilot?
No.
This is
Non-language.
rubbish.
Yes.
Rubbish. It is not a language on its turn. It is not a language. But by my gesture and the sound that I made, she could say, the second time I say fly a règle, could take a règle, take a règle. Take a règle. Take a tilot. Take, you see, take is English, while règle and tilot are not, just rubbish. These are not words. You see? Take a pen. Then we come to the conventional part of the language. It is non-pen here. In Saudi Arabia it is a pen. In Algeria it is a pen. Everywhere it is a pen. Take my glasses. Take my glasses, you see. These are my glasses. You see, I turn from a rubbish to a language. If I say the frame from on the from frequently. Nonsense, you see. But you could shave it, by the way. If I say some 3 times in different situations, you could try to pick together with the gesture movement. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for making this experiment into success. Yeah. Yeah. So acquisition is that the kind of language that we pick, the kind of language that we pick automatically, is not learned, not designed or programmed, subconsciously. Yeah. Thank you very much for your question again. Yeah. Yeah. You are welcome.
I am delighted to be here. I'm indebted to you.
Yeah.
I ask a question about what makes England great England.
What makes England great England? Okay, yeah. Well, there are a lot of things could be included in this answer. First of all, it is an island, isolated. It is a nation that is rich, and the people that work for it, the discovery within this island. And the discovery, usually with the discovery, the renewal of the language could also be seen. See, before the age of computer, when they discovered the computer, they call it computer. And together with the mouse, together with the software, hardware, internet, you see the vocabulary that is created with this creation. So whenever we make a creation, we develop and we coin the vocabulary that to suit this creation, or discovery actually. Okay, thank you very much. I'm grateful. Yes, I'm grateful to you attending these classes. And also I say, I hope that the good benefit is gained from these lectures. Try to feel enthusiastic, yes, coming to these lectures, and try to participate and ask questions. Thank you very much, and thank you to those who called from outside the studio. Thank you very much.